Thank you all for 100 subscribers. On the 3rd of April 2020, experimental underground artist known as Yves Tumor came out with their latest, I think 5th or 6th full-length album, Heaven to a Tortured Mind. This is probably their 3rd breakout album. They've broken out into the scene like 3 times. I think the first was in 2016 when they came out with Serpent Music, which for the most part I've never really heard much of and I haven't really given it a try. In 2018, they got even more popular with the release of Safe in the Hands of Love. I really enjoyed that one, and I do want to come back to it sometime soon, but I don't know, I just haven't gotten too much off of it. Maybe one day I'll come back to it and it'll click with me. That's exactly what I was hoping for with Heaven to a Tortured Mind. I liked it a lot when I first heard it, don't get me wrong. It was a good album, but truth be told, when I listened to this album for the first time, around the time of its release, I didn't know what I was getting out of it. It was just some sort of rock, pop, electronic, psychedelic album, and it just kind of fell on flat ears for me. My attention was brought back to it, however, thanks to a YouTuber that I follow a lot. I won't tell you who he is specifically. His name starts with M, ends with snare. I'm sure it rings a bell. But he made a video that at one point talked about this album. I won't spoil it for you when and where, but he put so much great detail into it about how much he loved this album, what makes this album so exciting, what makes it so cathartic and so good to listen to, and it made me want to come back to it and give it another listen, give it another chance. Maybe it'll grow on me. And look, this album is definitely a wild, passionate, and cathartic album in the right places. There's definitely a lot of dense and cleverly put together production. Take, for example, the first few seconds of this album. Gospel for a New Century has a great, cool rock sample just popping in and out, and when it kicks in, it is very cool. And the chorus too, it's a thrill. The other big showstopper of the album is Kerosene, the 4th track on the album, and you can definitely see why people enjoy it so much. The performance is brilliant. It is very cleverly executed. It is swing and hit. However, there is something about it that doesn't stick with me, and this is kind of where my problems with the album kind of lie. It's a good album. I like it a lot, but as much as performance-wise and production-wise, it's a great album. Melodically and sonically, it just doesn't stick with me too much. It's not really that good in the melodical front. It doesn't mean it doesn't have highlights though. Drain Palette is a personal favorite of mine. It has got this brilliant guitar sample, this hitting beat. It fucking hits. And I absolutely really enjoyed the performances on that one too. I'm not going into too much detail with this album, I realize, but that's kind of because when I listened to it for the first time, it just kind of washed over me. And as much as I paid full attention to this album on second listen, it sadly did not change my mind all too much. I definitely see why people like it so much. I definitely see the enjoyment in it a lot more, but it's just kind of not for me. Folie Imposée is another favorite here too. It's got a cool beat, it's got a cool guitar sample. I absolutely love how it was produced. It's a very clever beat. I love that one a lot. Other than that, the transition from Romanticist to Dream Palette was good. I realize this is going to be a bit of a quick review, but if you want to see why this album has so much love and care and detail put into it and why people enjoy it so much, I highly recommend checking out Mike the Snare's video. It pops up somewhere in his top 10 favorite albums of 2020. He is a fantastic YouTuber. I absolutely recommend you check him out. Definitely recommend watching that and other reviews talking about this album. It's a good album. I don't know how much I'll come back to it, but it's definitely enjoyable. I definitely get the hype now. I definitely appreciate it a lot. It gets a good 7 out of 10 for me, but I think Yves Tumor has a ways to go before they can really sell me on an album. Thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you want me to review next, and I'll see you in the next episode.